Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. Today we are going to take a look at how much of a coward and how much of a hypocrite the GB News CEO actually is. Recently he actually called out bullying and he said they don't condone it, they don't do this, they don't do that. But they've still allowed Dan Wootton to be on air. Which when we go through something I'm going to show you in a moment, actually, it's the TV standard by the actual people who do all of the TV stations. They should actually take him off air. So, this is coming from an article called The Media Leader. But we're just going through it because there's certain parts I want to show you. Because what it is, it's all about that one of the bigger people in GB News was recently hounded and bullied on stage. And the CEO came out against it. Nartora Kelly, the commercial director of GB News, appeared to have been the victim of abusive language and violent physical gestures at an awards event hosted by the Drum in Manchester. This created what was described as a very intimidating atmosphere, which was captured on video and shared via social media. Then, they go on to say about the actual video that these agency men thought they would be clever to F-bomb this woman from the comfort of their seats as she took to the stage. Now, you had that by there. But then it comes to this part right by here. GB News CEO Angelos, whatever his surname is, when he criticises the outrageous bullying levelled at his employee. I suspect he is correct when he says that no one called it out at the time because they feel silenced by the ever-present threat of cancel culture. Angelus added, it's time to call time on intolerance and to accept that not everyone agrees or sees the world in the same way. In any liberal democracy, the plurality of media is an overwhelmingly good thing. He's right, but bullying should not be tolerated anywhere, not just publicly. Very, very true. We know how pernicious bullying can be within workplaces, and it is important that people feel they can tell employers when they feel they have been a victim of abuse behind closed doors. This should apply to in media, whether it's in a broadcast studio, an agency, a national newsroom, or online. And remember, we've seen Wootton do all of this. We've seen him do it literally front and centre when he's put out his news articles way back in The Sun, way back in News of the World. Hell, he was still doing it last month and the month before on his Daily Mail website. But what we're going into is, like we were just saying, the GB News CEO, he's against bullying. He's against all this horrible stuff that someone would do to someone. And he demands people change. Well, obviously, with Dan Wootton, it just so happened that this incident took place a couple of weeks before a set of serious allegations against Dan Wootton. Among the allegations, which we know, he was hid behind fake online identity to trick and bribe men into revealing compromising explicit material. We saw Dan Wootton, he was like, I vehemently deny all of this. It's a smear campaign against me. They're trying to take down GB News. No, Dan, again, they're trying to take you down. GB News was not around when they first started. And it goes on to say by here that, but for GB News itself, there has been complete silence. Not even a boilerplate statement to say GB News takes allegations of this nature seriously. To be clear, I did approach the GB News CEO and a spokesperson to comment on questions for this article, but to no avail. Yeah, I'm actually still waiting myself on emails from the Daily Mail, The Sun, and GB News, asking about the whole Dan Wootton situation and what is currently being done about it by them. Have I heard anything? Nope. Zero. Nada. It's complete, literally just deathly silent from all of them involved. And that's not a good sign. It's just not. But goes on to say regarding it, it's also surprising that Wootton has not been temporarily taken off air. It's standard operating procedure for media owners to temporarily remove talent from the front line when allegations of this type are made. They're meant to take him offline. They're meant to. But they're not. Why? It's not an admission of wrongdoing, which is not. It is simply a signal that the company takes the allegations seriously and wants to lower the temperature. Yes, I keep saying he is innocent until proven guilty, but going literally by what Dan Wootton has said, every other person Yes, they should be taken off first screen. They should be investigated. If these rumours or these allegations are against a certain person, remove them from that space. They are not doing it with Dan Wootton. They do go on regarding that the Daily Mail, this is exactly what Mail Online have done. Wootton's column has not appeared since the allegations were made, and the Sun publisher News UK has reportedly been in correspondence with MPs about what investigations it has made about Wootton while he was there as a showbiz correspondent. Both publishers have said they are looking into the Wootton allegations. And then it goes into about the siege mentality part of it, which again, this is all true. I'm sure if they were willing to comment, GB News bosses would point out that Wootton was not their employee at the allegations are supposed to have happened. But my argument is that this isn't enough for a TV broadcaster whose words and deeds can be highly influential. Yeah, so, Dan Wootton, his GB News, it's supposedly the fourth most watched news program, just his show that is, out of all the big top four. But literally, they are showing mainstream bias. They are. They are not taking him off air. They are not actually going by what is standard procedure. Take him off the air. Right, we know this is going on. Basically telling people, we know what's happened. We're looking into it. He has been removed. However, he's not been found guilty of anything. We are investigating. That's all GB News has got to do. But do you think they'll do that? No. Because they are a bunch of cowards and a bunch of hypocrites. Because it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these people, they're like, oh, Dan Wootton. And they're probably just way too scared to even talk about him because they know what he's probably done. This is the thing going on. When all of this is coming out, they're probably thinking, what has he got on people? Does any of those people work here? No one knows. This is one of the big things regarding it. And it does say about mainstream media bias by here. As the CEO does point out, abuse shouldn't be tolerated. It shouldn't. And it goes on, they would argue I'm seeing this with a mainstream media bias. GB News presenters love to rail against the so-called mainstream media because, as another primetime presenter, Mark Dolan, said, shortly after the channel launched, the more they attack us from the outside, the stronger we get. It's absolutely disgusting that they haven't taken him off the air yet. And just another thing as well, I was tagged in this today, which I think is actually rather interesting. There appears to be a GB News poll doing the rounds about whether Carol Vorderman, who we reported on yesterday, should be banned from the BBC. So here's another. Should Dan Wootton be banned from GB News pending the outcome of the investigation? You got it by there. 96% point yes, 3% say no. And this is what it is. This is what GB News actually put out on their Twitter on Dan Wootton Tonight, live from 9 p.m. Should hard-left activist Carol Vorderman be banned from presenting by the BBC? Yes, no, dan@gbnews.com. And with this here, that is literally because Carol Vorderman put out her tweet saying karma is not a bitch today, it's a queen, because they went after Dan Wootton. That just goes to show how much this is affecting Dan Wootton, because with Carol Vorderman saying that little tweet, then you had Lily Allen, and it wouldn't surprise me if we hear a few more things in the next couple of weeks regarding him and other celebrities coming out, because it's not looking good for him. But seeing all of this, and when they actually, it's just that they literally thought this was a good thing to do. Dan Wootton Tonight, yeah, we're going to talk about this. She pointed out hypocrisy regarding the MPs and their university and the prices and everything else. And then they were like, oh, Carol Vorderman, oh my God, she said something bad about me. We got to cancel her. That's what they're doing. But with this, so I think they're trying to take all the heat from Dan Wootton and put it onto someone else, because that's what these type of people do. But literally, the CEO of GB News is one of the biggest cowards going at this moment in time. I really do think so. He's also one of the biggest hypocrites, because he literally needs to do what the standard procedure is of all media. We need to investigate this. They're literally doing nothing. And with the way that it's going about and how quiet they actually are, to me, this shows that GB News more than likely have people who work there who do bad things. Because if they're not going to get rid of Dan Wootton and, you know, just take him off air, we need to investigate these allegations, mate. We're not blaming you, we're not saying they're true, but we need to look into this. It's almost like, welcome to the club, mate. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes out in the next couple of weeks. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see you soon.